Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Obviously, it's still a very sad time. Everyone's still grieving Chadwick Boseman. The Marvel people just posted their official tribute to him. It aired last night on television, so I'll play that video in a second here. What I'm going to do is the same thing as my last video and just donate the ad revenue from this video to a cancer charity. If you do have one you want to recommend, just let me know in the comments. So here's Marvel's tribute video to him that aired on television last night.
It was Chadwick Boseman's performance in 42 that really made us take a second look. There is such an honor and dignity to the way that he played Jackie Robinson that we knew we needed for the character of T'Challa, the Prince of Wakanda.
Chadwick is an amazing actor and we thought would fit perfectly with the MCU.
Black Panther himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick, he has a lot of depth. It was amazing as an audience member to look into his eyes and see what's going on.
We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe.
A lot of the things about the character are also true about Chad. He's very knowledgeable. He's an athlete, martial artist. He's had a lot of experience playing roles that come with a lot of weight, So I think he as a person, he as a guy has a lot of weight to him. I think he brings all of that stuff to the role, but not to mention that he's incredibly gifted as an actor and as a performer, and also as a storyteller in his own right.
I am not king of all people. I am king of Wakanda. And it is my responsibility to make sure our people are safe.
Because he is so prepared as an actor, and because his character is sort of flawless on set, it forced the other actors who had scenes with him to kind of raise their game and go, okay, this guy is not taking anything for granted. He's really leaving it all out there. So we have to keep up with him.
What doesn't Chadwick bring to the character? I mean, he's regal and grounded, and he brings a gravitas to it. So all of this feeds his T'Challa, and I think he wore the crown with dignity.
Ibombe! 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 Ibombe!
I've known him since I was about 17, so I've known him for a really long time. Back in New York, he did the work, obviously. I just think he did an incredible job being true to the character.
Wakanda Forever!
I had a great time with Chadwick. Just warmth and camaraderie came into it, of course, with a great deal of respect for his previous work. So when I looked at him with proud eyes, they were as mother and also as comrade and colleague and Angela. It is your time to be king.
I mean, Chadwick is just a powerhouse. He's so talented. Every single movie he's made, there's kind of this internal, almost nobility.
The Black Panther has been the protector of Wakanda for generations.
He's such a soulful actor and so professional, so present. It really gives so much to the other person, and he's awesome. And his presence on set, I think, raises the stakes a little bit for everybody.
Chadwick he's a really smart, interesting, dynamic guy, and I think he was not overwhelmed, but very surprised and somewhat taken aback by the amount of love. It ceased to become just about how well he inhabited the role and all that stuff. It's become part of our culture just as a symbol.
This welcome is one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced.
It's fun to watch just what it means to people. At times, in my head, I'll be like, well, what does this do for the world? Actually, what is it? Is it actually valuable in this climate? And I have to say, yes, it actually is. Not because it makes people escape. I think when done right, it gives people hope. I found that it means a lot.
So that was all the Avengers actors, all the bigger people at Marvel, the executives, the producers, just paying honor to his memory. They aired that on ABC right after they got done airing the Black Panther movie, commercial-free. Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, who was featured during that memorial video, also issued his official statement. He was very close to Chadwick Boseman, but he's not active on social media, and he was just so much more broken up over the weekend that it took him a couple days to get his thoughts together to issue an official statement and memorialize him. So it was a very long, very touching statement. I'm just going to read part of what he said here. He says, he was a special person. He would often speak about heritage and what it means to be African. When preparing for the film, talking about the Black Panther movie, he would ponder every decision, every choice, not just for how it would reflect on himself, but how those choices would reverberate. They're not ready for this, what we are doing. This is Star Wars, this is Lord of the Rings, but for us and bigger. He would say this to me when we were struggling to finish a dramatic scene, stretching into double overtime, or while he was covered in body paint doing his own stunts, or crashing into frigid water and foaming landing pads. I would nod and smile, and I didn't believe him. I had no idea if the film would work. I wasn't sure if I knew what I was doing, but I look back and I realized that Chad knew something that we all didn't. He was playing the long game, all while putting in the work, and he did. Chad deeply valued his privacy, and I wasn't privy to the details of his illness. After his family released their statement, I realized that he was living with this illness the entire time that I knew him. Because he was a caretaker, a leader, a man of faith, dignity, and pride, he shielded his collaborators from his suffering. He lived a beautiful life, and he made great art, day after day, year after year. That was who he was. He was an epic firework display. I'll tell stories about being there for some of the brilliant sparks till the end of my days. What an incredible mark he's left for us. But it's with a heavy heart and a sense of deep gratitude to have ever been in his presence that I have to reckon with the fact that Chad is an ancestor now. And I know he will watch over us until we meet again. Signed, Ryan Coogler. So it's a very wonderful memorial, and he talks about working on the Black Panther film. I think a lot of people were surprised to hear that Ryan Coogler, someone who worked so closely with him for so long and so intensely on a movie like that, didn't know that he was suffering from cancer the whole time. I talked about it in my last video, but he actually found out that he had been diagnosed stage 3 cancer back in 2016, around the time the Captain America Civil War was happening. So he filmed all these different movies, not just the Marvel movies like Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, the Black Panther movie, but a whole string of other big films, indie films, and in between those just went through incredibly invasive and intensive surgeries and cancer treatments, just taking it all like a champ. You rewatch some of these films, this was all happening while Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War was happening, even the Black Panther movie, and he looks fantastic. You wouldn't know it just to look at him. One of the reasons why he probably didn't want to tell a lot of the people that he was working with that he was suffering from this is that it winds up coloring people's perception of you, the industry, and everything you do just becomes about that, not about the work or the mark you're trying to leave. And a lot of people have been talking about the impact that his characters and the work that he had on people around the world, and he didn't want to take that away from any of those people. But it's so wonderful just listening to all the other big-time Avengers actors that have been around this whole time talk about what a special person he was and how much he inspired them coming in and completely changing the landscape of not only the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel movies, but just pop culture and cinema in general. I would encourage you to watch some of his other films if you haven't seen anything besides his Marvel movies. They're all fantastic. He's fantastic in everything that he does. What'll probably happen in the future, because Marvel has the Black Widow movie that they plan on releasing later this year, is they might attach some sort of memorial or card to that movie remembering him. They did the same thing for Stan Lee when the Captain Marvel movie came out, but they will find some way to get some sort of memorial into the upcoming movies. It's just that right now they only have the Black Widow movie coming up later this year and then the Eternals movie early next year. I think it's a little crass to be talking about Black Panther 2 right now, but I'm sure sometime next year they'll address what's going on with the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They will give it the appropriate amount of time to settle so that they are not disrespectful to his memory. So if you didn't see it, I also posted a Chadwick Boseman video this past weekend after they announced the news of his passing. You can click here to watch that, and you can click here for all my other Marvel videos. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone, please stay healthy and safe. I'll see you guys tonight.